other senior members of government, executives of Linseka and InterEnergy, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's indeed my pleasure to welcome you to our event today, which is being held under the theme, Guyana's Energy Future Today. It struck me when I first learned of the theme for this afternoon that there's a consistency of thought across those working in the energy sector in Guyana and driving the conversations around energy forward, that what we really consider to be future things are things that are happening or need to happen now. And of course, you know I have the Energy Conference in mind when I make that particular comment. This has been a very busy day as we work to deepen relationships at the business level, not just at the government level, the business level, between the Dominican Republic and Guyana. And earlier this afternoon, the InterEnergy office right here in the Pegasus complex was opened. The ribbon was cut, and I'm happy for those of you who were able to participate in that today. Weather in the cross Guyana was a challenge, and so I missed the ribbon cutting myself because of rain in Region 1. But it's great for us to be here together. I'm going to ask His Excellency, Ambassador Ernesto Torres Perea, to deliver the opening remarks as we set course this afternoon for this event. Ambassador.
I'm going to actually use a phrase that I learned when I came to the region. All protocols observed. But in spite of all that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of a very good friend, the chairman of InterEnergy, Mr. Rolando Gonzalez Bunster, and his lovely wife, Monica. Distinguished guests, exactly 3 years ago, on June 1st of 2023, I met His Excellency President Irfan Ali for the first time when I presented credentials. And later that year, on October 1st of 2023, our embassy in Georgetown formally began operations. Ever since, our ties have evolved from a standard diplomatic relationship mostly conducted through multilateral frameworks into a highly strategic partnership with outstanding potential. This has been possible due to the fraternal relationship between our presidents, President Ali and President Abinader, which has been based on their shared vision, incredible work ethic, unparalleled energy, genuine love for their respective nations, and full understanding of the critical role of the private sector. Over the past 3 years, several significant cooperation agreements have been signed to enhance our collaboration in key fields, notably regional and energy security, regional food and energy security. When I was appointed to open our embassy in Georgetown, I was dispatched with a very clear mission: to implement President Abinader's vision of contributing to Guyana's development, and we have tried to do so by sharing best practices from our public and private sectors. Together with the Office of the President of the Dominican Republic and the DR Guyana Chamber of Commerce, we have brought some of our top firms to Guyana in several key fields, including agriculture, construction, energy, and tourism. The Dominican private sector is not aggressive. Rather, it is dynamic and competitive. Most of the companies that we have introduced to Guyana started from scratch and have grown to national, regional, and global powerhouses through innovation and elevated standards to earn public trust. InterEnergy is no exception. My dear friend, Rolando Gonzalez Bunster, shared with me the story of his modest beginnings, supplying energy to 2 hotels in Punta Cana using 2 containers with Wärtsilä generators of 1 megawatt each. Nations are no different. Abundant resources alone cannot guarantee economic growth. It is decisive leadership, a clear vision, and designed objectives what are truly the drivers of sustainable development. Thus, we're confident that under President Ali's and his cabinet's leadership, Guyana will reach the levels of development and independence conceived by the great Cheddi Jagan. We have witnessed the remarkable work His Excellency President Ali has carried out to consolidate Guyana's regional leadership and global standing. In doing so, he has effectively guided the swift and undeniable process of transformation we're witnessing today. This is why we're here, because we believe in the cabinet's and President Ali's vision, and we share that vision of a united, inclusive, self-sufficient, and prosperous Caribbean. In closing, I would like to take a moment to celebrate the life of a very close friend whose untimely passing has left a profound void in our hearts. Dear Anter, we will always remember you, and may the Almighty carry you in the hollow of His hand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, and thank you for capturing the emotion of his loss so well, a loss that we all share. Today's event is being driven by the Chamber of Commerce, the DR Guyana Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like you to now watch a video from the Chamber.
What can a small nation in the Caribbean have to share with one of its peers? What can they teach one another about the drive to completely overhaul their countries in what seems like the blink of an eye? They could talk about how in just a few short decades, a speck of dust in the sea became one of the most visited destinations in all of Latin America, about turning natural resources into a catalyst for outstanding human resources. Or perhaps they could discuss how the surprisingly diverse genetic makeup of its population produced a culture that excites and inspires the world. Or even how to turn the climactic complexities of their geographic positions into vast and resilient sources of power. And most importantly, how to ensure that decades from now, the realities we leave behind will still ignite hope and joy and pride in the hearts of those who come after us. The conversation goes both ways. There is a lot the Dominican Republic can learn from Guyana. There is a lot Santo Domingo and Punta Cana can share with Georgetown and Essequibo. There is a lot we can both do for each other. And you can be a part of that process as a member of the bilateral Guyana-Dominican Republic Chamber of Commerce. Because just think, if two nations can do all of this together, can you imagine what can happen with a united Caribbean? What can a small nation in the Caribbean
Thank you. They say when it's nice, you do it twice. And I think that's what was about to happen there. It is indeed nice, but we're not going to do it twice. It's okay. The Chamber of Commerce, of course, has facilitated already a variety of engagements. And all of us know that businesses and corporations from the DR are already doing good business in Guyana. I think the business in the DR that's doing the best business in Guyana is a business that's supplying short jacks. We all know where to find it now, right? Yeah, okay. So maybe I should go into that business too. It might be a good idea there. But certainly, well outside of fashion, there are investments and business engagements at the very core of development activity. And one of those is the work to be done by InterEnergy. And so I'd like to ask Mr. Freddie Acosta, the country manager for the InterEnergy Group in Guyana, to now make a presentation. Freddie.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Guyana stands at a defining moment in history, a moment where opportunity, growth, and transformation converge. But behind every thriving economy is something fundamental, something often invisible when it works, and painfully obvious when it doesn't: electricity. Today, we're not just talking about power. We are talking about enabling a future for industries, for communities, for every citizen of Guyana. Now, InterEnergy has been powering growth across the region since 1988, across generation, distribution, and commercialization. What sets us apart is not just scale, but our commitment to transformation, transitioning systems toward reliability, efficiency, and sustainability. Something that is in thanks to the vision of our chairman and CEO, Mr. Rolando González Bonsters, who has been instrumental in shaping this regional vision. With over 2.5 gigawatts of installed capacity across 10 different countries, our experience spans over diverse markets, from island grids to large-scale interconnected systems. This gives us a unique ability to bring proven solutions to Guyana's reality. These assets and how they are distributed across the region reflect one thing: execution at a scale across technologies, geographies, and different regulatory environments. Dominican Republic, where we have the vast majority of the assets that we operate, with over 1,000 megawatts of installed capacity. Panama, with over 930 megawatts of installed capacity, and the largest natural gas power plant of the whole region. We'd like to share with you also a video where you can see what is it that we have done and a reflection in motion of these assets.
A new energy model is becoming increasingly important worldwide, and at InterEnergy, we envision a future full of opportunities. We own and operate energy infrastructure and solutions that have been changing the lives of people in the countries where we operate. As we lead the energy transition in Latin America and the Caribbean, InterEnergy is driving an energy transformation movement that promotes sustainable and reliable forms of energy and strengthens our relationship with our customers, communities, and the planet. It's a new way of producing, storing, and distributing energy in harmony with the environment. The best example of our efforts is our CIPEM Zero program, announced at COP26, by which we are working to ensure that 100% of the energy generated and distributed by our subsidiary CIPEM is clean and renewable by the end of 2030, and in this way make the most important tourist zone of the Dominican Republic, which is powered by CIPEM, a green destination. One result of this initiative, Saona Island in the Dominican Republic, fills us with great pride for being the first and only island in the hemisphere with 100% renewable energy 24/7, making it a benchmark of sustainable development for other communities. Likewise, in Panama, we are contributing to the decarbonization of its energy matrix through Generadora Gatun, the largest natural gas power plant in Central America and the Caribbean, with an installed capacity of 670 megawatts. This plant begins operations by providing sustainability, efficiency, reliability, and strengthening Panama's electrical system, and setting the conditions for a reduction in energy costs. All InterEnergy projects build on constant innovation, technology, and the commitment of all collaborators who are contributing to an energy transition that speaks of progress and a better quality of life. It is a joint effort where we strengthen alliances and add the will of companies and organizations with whom we work, while contributing to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals with a view of a future full of opportunities. A future that we build from today with the creation of a modern EV charging network in the Americas and with the use of the power of our sun to energize electric vehicles. Furthermore, InterEnergy has advanced in the use of wind technologies to create large parks that take advantage of the force of the wind to produce the energy that moves productive sectors and communities across the region. We will continue to follow new paths to generating clean and renewable energy, offering a green future for our planet and for future generations. InterEnergy, the future of energy today.
All right, now let's turn to Guyana. Guyana is a nation in transformation, one of the fastest growing economies in the world. New industries, expanding cities, and this implies a rising demand for electricity. But growth at this pace puts a lot of pressure on infrastructure, and the truth is simple. The speed of development will be determined by the strength of the energy system. Challenges today. Today's challenges for the energy system of this nation are clear. Aging infrastructure, service interruptions, high operational costs. Globally, every successful economy shares one common denominator: reliable electricity across as a development platform. Without it, growth slows. With it, everything accelerates. Now, our partnership with Guyana Power and Light, GPL, it's an opportunity. Guyana doesn't need to follow a traditional path. It can leapfrog into a modern 21st century grid, reliable, efficient, digitally managed, resilient, renewable ready. The question is not if, but how fast. This is why the partnership with GPL is so important. It marks a shift from isolated improvements to system-wide transformation. There are three key areas of our partnership: the infrastructure supervision and project management, of ongoing transmission and substations in the EPC projects, power plant performance assets life management to improve what you get out of the current assets, and a smart grid roadmap towards 2030, designing a long-term expansion plan for this electricity system. Now, regarding infrastructure supervision, we're actively ensuring that projects are delivered to the highest quality standards, strengthening the grid resilience, supporting that projects are coordinated with the contractors, design, quality control, testing of materials in factories, commissioning, supervising construction. These will all help enable that when these projects are delivered, they are also reliable. They last for a long time. We want to see these transmission lines and these substations being built with the highest quality possible, so they can last for a very long time as the growth of this country. So our second item of our contract currently is the power plant optimization. Here we're assessing performance, operations, and asset life management. This means improving current operations, extending the possible asset life, and planning for the retirement or replacement of those assets that are no longer of good use, getting more value out of existing assets. This will improve efficiency and also reliability across the generation fleet. The third scope of our agreement is smart grid planning. It is a 2030 roadmap that will include forecast demand, prioritizing investments, integrating smart technologies, a fully digital and integrated electricity system. The objective is to advise GPL and the government of Guyana on what steps need to be taken to reach those objectives that we share with GPL. Now, to achieve those objectives and as a path forward, we see four crucial pillars of modernization: modern generation, grid modernization, renewable integration, and digital platforms. Together, they transform the system into something intelligent, something responsive, something future-ready. Efficient dispatchable capacity, size to the trajectory of Guyana's growing demand, grid modernization, advanced substations, automation, real-time control of these assets. Renewable integration, this is the next step as well, solar and wind paired with battery storage, flexible reserves for a cleaner, more stable and competitive supply mix, and digital platforms that is one unified software that will allow billing, metering, customer service fields, operations, gathering data, utilizing data analysis to bring all of this together and make a more efficient operation of all these assets, from generation through the transmission towards the final client. So what is our offer to Guyana in each one of these pillars? First of all, is the fast track of power generation, energy ready today, power ships and renewables that can accelerate these timeframes. Quattro system platforms, our state-of-the-art full-stack utility software. It covers billing, metering, customer engagement, and so on and so forth. It is a modular ecosystem, which means that you can contract different sides of it, covering electricity. It can be used for water. It can be used for gas utilities as well. Over 5 million users across 5 countries are using this system now. Energy systems management, which imply the deployment of battery energy storage for advanced grid operation, load shedding, frequency regulation, real-time grid control. All these things are needed to balance the generation and the demand and ensure that the operation is stable and it works. And finally, electric mobility, Evergo, which is the most advanced EV charging network in Latin America, with over 1,200 charging stations operating across the region, ready to extend to Guyana as the electrification accelerates. We see a lot of EVs on the streets here in Guyana, and Evergo is ready to supply the demand for those EVs. So a little more on generation. We are ready to deliver, well, power generation ready to mobilize. This is a very fast track into the growing demand of the country. You will need generation, and we are ready to provide it. Onshore power generation as well. That does not only mean thermal, but also renewables in combination with storage. So it is flexible. We have learned a lot from the deployment of renewables in the Dominican Republic, and we have gained a lot of experience that we can also bring into this country to help accelerate that transition towards a cleaner future. Now, on the integrated platform, Quadro Systems, this is a very interesting platform because it covers everything that a utility needs to have, operate, and manage. It goes from payment, loss control, smart metering, customer engagement, virtual prepayment. It is everything, it has all the modules that are needed for a utility to efficiently manage their clients, reduce losses, and increase satisfaction. Over 5 million people across 5 different countries are utilizing this platform in the DR, Aruba, Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru. Tested at a scale across utility, different regulatory environments, from Caribbean islands to the Andean Central American systems. So the experience with Quadro is vast, and it's a proven solution that can improve the operations of a utility. It includes a very interesting tool that we have developed, which is the virtual prepayment through Quadro. This allows customers to pre-purchase their energy, the same way that you would do with internet or with any other service. It integrates the smart metering, so every 15 minutes you are able to see your consumption in real time. And essentially it allows both the utility and the client, which is very important, to manage their supply. So on energy systems management, we are leading, this is a proven success case, which some of the people in the government already know, which is CEPM. It's the vertically integrated utility that we operate in the eastern region of the Dominican Republic. This leads as a private energy provider in the DR, powering more than 85,000 homes and businesses, and more than 65% of the tourism of the Dominican Republic. Now, the impact of CEPM is huge. We're going to see on metrics with an installed capacity of over 600 megawatts, which of 270 are renewable towards cleaner energy, and more than 160 megawatt hour of storage. Let's see a little bit of the metrics of CEPM and why it is a proven case of success. Now, CEPM has an availability measurement or factor of 99.92%. Interruption in hours in a year of 6.59 hours. That means that from the 8,760 hours that a year has, an average customer only gets 6 hours of interruption of their supply. Frequency of outages per customer per year, that is roughly 9.5 in a year. This includes planned maintenances and outages that are needed to maintain the infrastructure and also unforeseen circumstances. Energy losses of only 3.2%. Now, for those who work in the energy sector and know utilities can appreciate, this is an outstanding metric. This is essentially technical losses. And for a utility to achieve this percentage of losses, needs to have the highest level of operation efficiency, which we have achieved over there. A collectability of 101%. Now, this is a funny metric that I was discussing with the guys who prepared this presentation. You might ask, how can you have 101% collectability? Are you charging customers more than they have to pay? Well, the reality is, behind this metric is that over 75% of our customers in the DR have a prepaid system. That means they pay before using the electricity supply, which means that the company has capital even before it has to invest in operation and so on and so forth. This gives both the client transparency and control over their supply, and this gives the utility also the capital that it needs ahead. So we don't have collectability issues on that regard. Now, the impact of customer empowerment. In 2014, we served around 16,000 customers and received around 12% complaints. We have been implementing digital systems, strategies to attend this growing customer base that each year grows consistently. By 2016, we grew from 16,000 customers to 25,000. But complaints reduced from 12% to 3%. 2025, we are now serving almost 80,000 customers and complaints of less than 1%. Now, how is it achieved? How is it that we grow? Now, how is this achieved? How is it that we have a growth in customer base of almost 5 times, yet our complaints are reduced in 93%? This is done through customer empowerment. This is a tool. The system being centered are changing. Now customers want to be involved in their consumption, in their grid, however way possible. That screenshot you can see there is real-time consumptions that each one of our customers can see in real time in their telephone at any given time. And when they have visibility, they know what is happening. They know an outage is going to happen. They know if there's an increase in consumption, they can measure it. The complaints are reducing because there is transparency. And the customer is involved in this process. And we believe in engaging the customer also to develop utilities forward. And it's part of what we intend to bring into Guyana. Now, renewable integration at a scale. As I mentioned on a previous slide, we have over 270 megawatts of installed capacity in renewables. This does not come without its challenges. Most of the economies that are deploying renewables at scale would appreciate this. It's not only about adding solar, adding wind at large capacities. It requires grid stability, something that we cannot leave behind. This is achieved through battery storage systems, flexible generation, flexible reserves, and advanced real-time control. This is an example here of a system disturbance. I know it may be a little technical, but bear with me. The blue line that you see going down is the system frequency. Now, that should be a flat line. As long as that line is flat, there is no issue. Nobody sees any disturbance, the supply is good, generation is good, everything is operating brilliantly. Whenever you have a disturbance, a circuit fails, an equipment fails, you have an outage, then you see a decrease in the frequency. Now, without the support of the curve in pink, which is how the battery system responds to this disturbance, then you could have a complete loss of the system and have a complete blackout. And that is what batteries and flexible generation shows that can be managed or integrated together with renewables that increase volatility. Renewables, since the resource goes up and down, increases a lot of disturbances. And with batteries, we have proven experience also how can we balance these disturbances and ensure cleaner targets are achieved, but the grid can also operate safely, because without a reliable supply, in reality, you don't have anything. So cleaner, but also reliable. Right, on electric mobility, this is a very important company of our portfolio because it has the most advanced EV charging platform in all the region. It has been an enabler for electric mobility. I have been a witness of this myself in the Dominican Republic. People were complaining at the beginning, the cost of EVs, they're too high. Now EVs go down, there's nowhere to charge them. And I've seen the major deployment across the country of all these EV charging stations and how people now feel free, feel secure to buy an EV because they're going to have a charging station everywhere in the road. They'll be able to go across the whole country and they will have no issue charging their cars. I say this because I also notice a lot of EVs in Guyana right now. People are buying a lot of electric vehicles. And you need reliable EV charging infrastructure to ensure that this is also, to ensure that this is also moved forward. that the electrification of transportation can be achieved, but people have the trust that they are going to be able to charge their vehicles and move across without any complication. Whenever possible, these stations are backed by 100% renewable energy storage. We offer home charging, fleet charging, public network charging, and charging hubs, with the first large-scale electric charging station in the region, also in the Dominican Republic. If you get a chance to visit there, we will show you around. It is a state-of-the-art facility for massive EV charging. I mean, buses, motorcycles, EVs of all kinds, powered by renewable energy as well. So, the expected impact for Guyana. The modernization of the electricity system, as everything I have discussed in here, will unlock the next stage of national growth for this nation. Improved reliability, fewer and shorter outages, higher operational efficiency, infrastructure that's prepared for sustained economic expansion, and a grid ready to host renewables and electric mobility. Like this, energy can become an enabler of Guyana's next stage of development. Now we're going to show a short video also on how we believe this strategic partnership with GPL is enabling this and will contribute to enable this for the Guyanese moving forward.
Guyana is rising. One of the fastest growing nations in the entire world. A nation full of dreams and full of possibilities. But every great future depends on one essential foundation: reliable energy. And today, that foundation is no longer reliable. Aging infrastructure, unpredictable outages. Something we built for the past cannot empower our future. A moment to come together, a moment to rethink, rebuild, and transform. A moment to rise to power. Guyana, Power and Light and InterEnergy have joined forces to build something entirely new, not just to fix the system, but to reinvent it, based on InterEnergy's proven experience. With operations in multiple countries in the Americas and over 2.5 gigawatts of installed capacity, InterEnergy is a leading energy group driving the region's transformation. Its distribution company, CEPEM, is ranked among the best in Latin America and leads the region in carbon neutrality. With advanced generation, natural gas solutions, and more than 160 megawatt hours of battery storage in operation, InterEnergy brings the expertise to design, transform, and operate resilient energy systems. A smarter grid, intelligent infrastructure, real-time control, modern substations, digital networks, a system designed for reliability, a system designed for Guyana's future. Because energy is not about infrastructure. It's about power, capable of empowering dreams, ideas, and possibilities. Empowering people. A future where energy is reliable is a future where businesses can grow with confidence and our nation can move forward. InterEnergy, powering the future of Guyana.
Now everyone, Guyana has a very rare advantage. It is not burdened by legacy decisions to the same extent as other countries. It has the chance to build a system correctly from the ground up. Reliable electricity is not just infrastructure. It's opportunity, it's jobs, its investment, its quality of life for the Guyanese. Ultimately, it is the foundation of the Guyana that the next generation will inherit. We are ready to partner in building that future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Freddie Acosta, for your detailed presentation, which helped us to understand what InterEnergy's strategic vision is, your regional experience, and most importantly, your long-term commitment to Guyana's energy sector, the energy infrastructure, and of course, all of the challenges of modernization. I'll tell you a quick little story, Freddie. 30 years ago, I used to work for a public utility, and we were just learning how to bill remotely. And I was responsible for billing and collections. The concept of 101% on collections is just like mind-boggling. But it's good to see that the new digital solutions could drive us to places where we couldn't go when people like me had what in Guyana we'd call the bad name job of trying to collect on utility bills, and also having a list of people who you couldn't disconnect. That was, some people here know what I'm talking about. Thank you again. We now move to another company from the DR working hard in Guyana. So InterEnergy is working on developing and modernizing existing infrastructure and grids. Linseka is working on building something new from the ground up. And I'd like to ask you, first of all, to take a look at the Linseka video before I invite someone to come up and talk a little bit about their work here. So I'd like to invite Grayan Fuentes from Linseka to deliver a presentation to talk about Linseka's progress on this new development. Leaning forward, right backward.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I want to start by actually admitting that that video made me a little bit emotional. So, if I may start. Good evening, distinguished guests, government officials, and industry leaders. First, I would like to thank the organizers of Future of Energy today. I would also like to thank all the different government officials and embassies that have supported this event, as well as the project and Linsaica throughout the life of the project. I want to take a moment to recognize the partnership and the importance of the partnership between the Dominican Republic and Guyana in shaping the future of energy across the region. Today, I would like to speak about a project that represents much more than infrastructure in Guyana. It represents opportunity, transformation, and the future of energy development in the Caribbean and South America. Linsaica is proud to be leading the execution of the gas-to-energy project in Wales. It's one of the most ambitious energy infrastructure projects in the country. This project is designed to bring natural gas and convert the resource into affordable, reliable, and cleaner energy for the people of Guyana. It includes an integrated natural gas processing facility, an approximately 300 megawatt, actually not approximately, exactly 300 megawatt combined cycle power plant, and the infrastructure required to transport and process this gas. But the true significance of this project goes far beyond generating electricity. Reliable and affordable energy is the foundation of economic development. It enables industrial growth, attracts investment, creates jobs, and improves quality of life. By strengthening Guyana's energy security and reducing the cost of power, this project will help unlock new opportunities in manufacturing, petrochemical, fertilizers, LNG, and future industrial expansion, some of which we're already seeing today in the Wales sector, if anybody is familiar with the region. The project has also received international recognition. The Exim Bank of the United States has supported the initiative through strategic financing and later recognized it for its with its prestigious Deal of the Year award, highlighting the importance not only to Guyana, but for the wider region. As we gather here today to discuss the future of energy, I believe projects like this demonstrate a fundamental reality. And I absolutely love this quote, so I want everybody, if you're going to take something home from my presentation, for this to be it. The future of energy is not measured by the megawatts we generate, but by the opportunities we create for people, industries, and nations. The future of energy is being built today through investment, innovation, regional cooperation, and the willingness to undertake bold projects that create lasting value. The Gas-to-Energy project is one example of that vision becoming a reality. For Linsaica, it is both an honor and a responsibility to contribute to that future. So I'll give you the key points, so I don't have you guys reading the entire presentation. So Linsaica, it's a family business. I was born in Venezuela in the late 80s. We moved to the US in the early 2000s, and we've been headquartered over there since, Houston, Texas, to be exact. With more than 3 decades of experience and over 140 EPC projects, and for those not in the industry, EPCs, engineering, procurement, and construction, we also do all our manufacturing out of Houston. We have become specialized we have specialized in modularized and fast-tracked energy projects. We started in oil and gas, we has very high standards, quality standards, and we have since moved to power generation. And so our key has been to maintain those very high oil and gas standards and bring it into this industry. That way we're able to offer every single one of our clients a world-class facility. At Lincyca, we're also committed with the United Nations 2030 Agenda, which is to develop the LNG and renewable energies, such as solar and wind, to address the challenges of the future. This goes in line with our motto, which is, we build the future with energy. We always start our presentations talking about the most important resource and the most important thing that Lincyca has, and that is its people. So this is actually our OSHA TRIR rate, which is at an average of 0.37. This is actually a safety index. As I mentioned, we do engineering, procurement, manufacturing, construction, as well as operation and maintenance on oil and gas and energy facilities. We also provide financing wherever it's needed. We were recognized by the Exim Bank in 2025. We got Deal of the Year award. That is actually our president, Hector Fuentes. And you have a couple photos over there on the far right side of Gas2Energy. We've also been recognized by a couple different companies. We got an award in 2019 by ENI for our safety protocols. We're headquartered out of Houston, but we do have different branches throughout Venezuela, the US, Mexico, we're in Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Chile, Peru, Bolivia, and Argentina, as well as Guyana. We are the second company to be certified with the new ISOs and the new ISO category in Houston, and I'll show you shortly a couple photos to show you our facilities, our manufacturing facilities in Houston. This is our main manufacturing shop where most of the equipment that you will be seeing at the Gas2Energy power plant is actually manufactured. This is the inside of that facility. We have over 323,000 square feet of open areas, as well as 134,000 square feet of closed area. We have over 235 tons of lifting capacity. We have automated systems. We have strategic partnerships, all of which we'll go through throughout this presentation. This is a little bit of a technical aspect. Whenever Freddie was giving the presentation for InterEnergy, I thought about this because, you know, there were some technical things in there, and when he said that, I was like, ooh, everybody get ready for this presentation. And may I add, Freddie, that, oh, well, in this case, Rolando, I've actually been to, I've seen the CEPEM operations, and they're absolutely gorgeous. I've seen the Quattro digital system, and it's a wonder to work with. So if you guys have the chance to experience it and to see it for yourselves, I highly recommend it. These are some of our most important projects that we've done through our lifetime. We did the Cardon 4 in Venezuela. This was actually the second largest natural gas project in the entire world that year. We finished this 2 months ahead of schedule. We actually became ENI's preferred vendor from this project. And any country they go to, they ask us if we're working there so they can hire us, which is, winning ENI's and Repsol's trust is not an easy thing to do, but 98% of our clients are repeat customers, and that's a badge that we wear with honor. Another important project that we have was ORF Early Works. This was a debottlenecking facility, gas processing facility out in Mexico in the area of Tabasco. ENI asked us if we had operations in Mexico that year. We started operations. I remember we got a smaller scope of the project, and we kept on kind of helping out the other companies that had other scopes. And eventually, ENI just said, please just do the entire thing. You would definitely help us with have a headache less. You would cure a headache for us. So we did this. The paint at the job site had not finished drying when they told us that they actually wanted us to double the capacity of this plant, which they asked, can you guys do? And we said promptly, yes, we can. This is another project that we had in Venezuela. This was a beautiful little project. It was small. Nonetheless, it was the first offshore barrel of oil produced in Venezuela, was actually produced in our barge that we made. This barge was a small barge. Nonetheless, the beauty of this project was the complexity, because it was a barge that had water, air, gas treatment facility, as well as power generation. It was a beautiful project. Venezuela being Venezuela, this was meant to actually be moved around different oil sites, and they never moved it around. So a couple different other projects we've done. We've done power generation, offshore production, gas compression stations, refurbishing facilities, gas pipeline transfers, fuel gas compression, gas treatment, and early production facilities. There's a couple other projects that we've done through our lifetime. The secret, and I'm going to share this. This is not part of the presentation, but I'm going to share it either way. The secret to Linsaika, and I have seen Linsaika grow in my lifetime. It is a family business. It was started by my father and my uncle. And in my lifetime, I've seen Linsaika grow from two people, my father and my uncle. From very humble beginnings to over 2,000 employees today. That's not taking into consideration subcontract work. That's all direct employees. Working through all the different countries we're working on in Latin America, South America, Central and North America, and the Caribbean. And the secret has been to always take on the challenge. And this is something that I kind of want everybody to take home. Always take on the challenge, because every time that you see a project that you may consider big, or it doesn't have to be a project, it can be something in your personal life, but just a challenge, take it on head on, because it will push you to grow. It will push you to learn and to apply the best of yourself to make it happen. So what has happened to us is that we've worked with all the big ones. We've worked with Chevrons, Exxons, BPs, and you'll see a big list at the end. All the major transnational companies. And what we always did is grab their quality standards, quality requirements, safety requirements, procedure requirements. Just grab the best of the best and keep the best of the best from each company. And that's what has allowed us to become who we are today in my lifetime. Thank you. Thank you. Just a couple different things we've done. All these photos are in our shop. You can literally eat off the floor if you drop something. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful shop. So we have compressor units that we did for ENI. Everything's absolutely custom made. We have some process kits. This were for ExxonMobil in Argentina. ExxonMobil, funny story about this project. ExxonMobil was actually the end client. We were subcontracted by the EPC in that project. Exxon asked, who built this, when they saw the equipment at the site. and then they reach out to us. They send an inspector to our shop. The inspector, who had been working on this for 35 years, said this is the most beautiful shop that he has seen in Houston, and this is something that, again, it's a badge that we wear with honor. I would love, if I could put all of you guys on a plane and take you to the shop so I can show you a shop, I would love to do that. We have a chemical injection tank. This was a very complex project. Also for your E&I, this is a Miston platform in Mexico. I believe we have a photo of it being loaded onto the platform. Fuel gas conditioning skid. This is a project that we did for Trinidad and Tobago. It looks like a very simple and small skid. It was extremely complex and extremely high-tech. We actually love this little project. These salters for Techin and Tech Patrol. This was for Argentina. A lot of exotic metals went into this, all of which are coated by the different paint codes that it requires. Something else you will notice about our manufacturing is also that we always put a plaque on the bottom of our skids, and it's because we take a lot of pride in what we do. We take a lot of pride in the quality and the effort and the work that we put into our projects. So we'll put our logo, we'll put our plaque, and we'll stand by the work we do, and this is something that's extremely important to us. This is a refrigerated Joule Thompson skid. It's pretty much a cryo plant that's modularized. It takes, I believe, 4 weeks to assemble versus you assemble, disassemble, put it in a container. It's a container size. You put it in a container and you ship it wherever you need it. This saves you about 6 months worth of work by building a cryo plant at wherever you're at. This is something that was done for SNC Lavalin in the USA. Something else that we count on, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much about manufacturing, but it's something that we love, right? Is the automated equipment. We actually have, I believe it's 4 different robotic welding systems that allow us to operate 24/7 around the clock. This is something that's definitely coming into play for the gas to energy power plant. This is something that has helped a lot. Heavy equipment. Funny thing about this, and I wanted to leave this slide on, is all these photos are here in Guyana. This is all the equipment that we brought. We are completely self-performing on the gas to energy project, which allows us to work a lot faster and a lot more neatly. Things that differentiate us, we have SAP, which is an ERP control program. We have TotalQ, which is developed in-house, and it's a way to actually control and manage ITR. So the very last thing on an EPC project, actually most civil engineering, I feel like, projects, is at the very end, you give your client a workbook filled with all the different certifications for all the work you did. What happens in reality is that someone will lose a piece of paper. Someone on the field puts a piece of paper on their pocket, then they get home, they wash their, I forgot what it's called, their uniform, and that paper's gone. That signature's gone. Whatever it is gone. So this is a process that usually takes about 2 months to complete. With TotalQ, we're actually able to audit it on real time. They actually walk around with iPads and fill everything out. You can actually click and go into, you can look at an equipment, you can see where it came from, you can see the manufacturing process it went through, you can see the certifications for that equipment. Additionally from that, if you're looking, for example, at a pipeline or a skid, you can look at who welded this, what was the rejection rate of this welder. All these different things happen and can be audited real time, and this is something that has been very, very helpful in our industry. We use SharePoint for document control. We also have the ISOs, the 9001, 2008, and the ASME, and the ISO 14001. This is just we already went through that. Now this is very important. Right now, our two landmark projects are one in the Dominican Republic and the other one in Guyana. In Dominican Republic, we just finished a 414 megawatt power plant combined cycle. This is a photo as of March 26th of the power plant. Let me see. Yes, as of March 26th. We have a plant efficiency of 59%, which is outstanding for LNG turbine, for for a natural gas turbine. We also build a 345 kilowatt electrical substation, kilovolt. We have an overall project completion of 98%. So this power plant, it's a beautiful facility. This power plant has two turbines. One is a natural gas turbine that generates, by Siemens standards, 284 megawatts, but it actually generates 293. And then the other turbine is, so this works like a huge airplane turbine, just for whoever's not in the industry. A huge airplane turbine. So this turbine spins. You feed it fuel. The fuel is natural gas. It spins. It spins a dynamo at the same time. It spins a dynamo, and this will create electricity. But then, as a turbine or any engine, really, you have a lot of lost energy through heat. So we utilize that heat to warm up water, create vapor, and then that will spin a separate turbine, which is a vapor turbine, steam turbine, sorry. And then the reason we're here in Guyana is the gas to energy project in Wales. It's absolutely beautiful. It's 300 megawatt installed capacity. This project is a little bit different, and I'll tell you why. Instead of it being two turbines, you actually have 6. You have 2 gas turbines and a steam turbine. So the heat from these 2 gas turbines will go up to the single steam turbine, and then you have another twin. So it's 4 gas, 2 steam. Also, different from our project in, oh, wait, sorry. I just realized we're missing a, apologies for that. I wanted to show you a video of the finished product, so we can have an idea what gas to energy is going to look like. I think we're having some technical difficulties, so we'll move it along, and I'll try to get the video before the end of the presentation. So a little bit different from the Dominican Republic project, and this is in the I really want you guys to see that finished product. So the project here in Guyana, gas to energy project, is actually 25% smaller in capacity, but it's 300%. The 300% in the sense of the size, the sheer size of the project. In gas to energy, you have an NGL processing facility. You have around 100 acres of land. It's a much bigger project than the one in the Dominican Republic, which is just power generation and substation. This is some of the different activities that have gone on the gas to energy project. So that's the ongoing. I showed you a little bit of the past, a little bit where we come from, and a little bit of where we are at. Looking to the future, we have a twin power plant that's going to be built. We have a twin power plant that's going to be built in the same area as the Dominican Republic power plant, also 414 megawatts. We're looking at the expansion, the 300 megawatts expansion here in Guyana in the Wells area. It's actually adjacent to the project site, to the project we're building today. We're looking at the petrochemical facility, BESS, expansion NGL, propane bottling facility, a couple of geothermal and thermoelectrics in Costa Rica. And our eye is set on Monte Cristi, Wells, and Berbice. This is a couple of our strategic allegiances. You have Siemens Energy, which is the biggest turbine manufacturer in the world. You have KBR, who's actually owns the 70% of the technology for all the petrochemical facilities in the world. You have Baker Hughes, they need no introduction. You have Waukesha Pierce, which is engines, compressors, and generators, as well as Pan American Supply, among a few others. And lastly, this is some of our partners and clients we work with. Everybody that you see on this list, on this slide, is very happy. Whoever's not happy is not on the slide. But we actually, we become preferred vendors for Eni, for Chevron, for Repsol, for Sterin, Belarus. Let me see some of the other guys on here. Enerflex, SLB, Old Schlumberger, and ExxonMobil, as well as SNC-Lavalin. But without further ado, if we did not get the video going, sir? This is the finished product. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate your time and your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Gran. It looks as though Gran and Freddie were determined to show that if I was miseducated, that the DR delivers more than shirts. We're convinced now, I apologize. We just have some remarks from the chairman of InterEnergy. And so I'd like to ask the chairman, his chairman and CEO, Mr. Rolando Gonzalez Bunster. This is the big man. He's the only man who could just walk up on the side there. You know, the rest of us have to use the stairs. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Welcome. It is a pleasure to be in Guyana again. I really don't have a great deal to say. Freddie Acosta was eloquent, to the point, and presented a lot of what we do. Maybe I could just give you a quick idea of how we got there. A short analysis, if you want to call it analysis, but the struggle of more than almost 40 years of finding my way in the desert. Dreams sometimes come to you at night, and other times they come as you live your life. But I happened to fall into dreams by meeting the right people at the right time. And I met people that had a great influence on my life, and I got into an industry that I had no background on, had no knowledge about, and sort of figured that I would use the old adage, the audacity of ignorance. And that's really what led me into the energy business. I started by a meeting I had with President Balaguer back in 1987. He had just returned to power after 8 years of absence. He won an election with being totally blind. And I had worked for him after college. And when I went to see him, it was a social visit. And I had retired from Gulf and Western, a big conglomerate, where I had spent 10 years working for the most dynamic and intense executive that I've ever met. And when I went to see President Balaguer, it was more to reminisce and to give him good wishes for his next 2 terms. And he said to me as I was leaving, I said, "Mr. President, I have a lot of free time. Use me because I can be of help to you at any time you wish." And as I was leaving, he said to me, "I have a serious energy problem. Maybe you can help me to find a quick energy solution so that we don't have all these power blackouts." The Dominican energy system at that time was about 500 megawatts, maybe at the most. Today it's over 5,000, so at that time it was small. So I said, let me look into it. And I researched the matter a bit, but I should say I didn't know anything about it. But by pure luck and pure coincidence, I got on a train from Grand Central Station to my home in Greenwich, Connecticut, and sitting in front of me was a man looking at a map of the Dominican Republic. And I looked at him, he was a Scandinavian-looking gentleman. I said to him, "Why are you looking at a map of the Dominican Republic?" Having a lot of experience in the Dominican Republic, in those days, I found it strange. And he said, I am the head of Wärtsilä Diesel for the United States and the Caribbean. And we've heard that there are a lot of power.